Bolt-On Technologies, automotive software solutions. Auto repair shops that have Bolt-On Technologies software provide customer vehicle condition reports, including photos and text, real-time digital reports, multi-point inspections, estimates, and repair information at your fingertips. Info at boltontechnology.com.
Live from the John's Refrigeration Media Center at the East Valley Institute of Technology, this is 88.7 The Pulse, KPNG, Chandler, Phoenix, and KVIT, Apache Junction, Goldfield, Ghost Town, Arizona. This is Wrench Nation. Car talk, car culture, car tips, car music, all that is car. Wrench Nation Car Talk. Call or text your questions now. 480-655-8870 with your hosts, Frank and Steve.
It is Wrench Nation, and we are live today, and we are on the road at Desert Wind Harley-Davidson in Mesa on Country Club just north of Southern, right across the street from my favorite barbecue place, Tom's Barbecue.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, so I'm over in this area all the time. It is Wrench Nation, our 2-hour edition. Frank's here. Wally's here. Hello, guys. How you guys doing?
We are absolutely wunderbar. Welcome back, you mechanical maniacs. Every week, we talk about your car care tips, but we like to take you on a journey. And this show is dedicated this year, Steve, Wally, 115 years, dude, of Harley-Davidson, Americana iconic history and culture.
1903, then.
We're going back, and we're going to cover some of that history. We are here at Desert Winds Harley-Davidson, your premier Harley-Davidson dealership.
I forget how awesome this place is because I've been here a couple times, but it's been a few years.
Yeah.
And to come into a Harley place like Desert Wind, I mean, just everything that's here. The bikes, first and foremost, are absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But then all of the, the accessories that go with it, they have just about everything you could possibly want or need that's Harley-Davidson.
Absolutely. All about the lifestyle right here.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. You got to love that. So come on down and join us. If you want to stop by and say hello today, we're here till 5 o'clock with Wrench Nation.
That's right. And if you have a particular question, we're actually going to have a motorcycle mechanic. We're going to have some accessories folks on here. If you thought about buying a Harley, perhaps you don't know how to ride one. They've got a tester that actually we're going to talk about. There's a riding academy, so don't fear.
I could use that.
This show is dedicated to Harley-Davidson, and don't forget, we're pretty excited about this, Wally. We talked about last show. We were over at NHRA talking to the Akilita Motorsports folks over there, just really down to earth.
Amen. Amen.
And we're really grateful. So what we have today is we've got Greg Buckley's dad, Gene Buckley, Steve.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the man is apparently hung out with Big Daddy Don Garlitz of NHRA.
All right.
Fame. And so we've got our Tales from the Strip coming up later on in the show.
That's a strip or strip club?
Well, it could be a little bit of both, but
I don't have any ones.
And of course, if you guys have any car care questions, this show is always dedicated. It's our community. You guys rock. You've gotten on Facebook and all over, and we appreciate you guys. Remember, this is your show. We're going to save you money on car care. We're going to help you the best we can. Check engine lights, brakes. If you got a tire issue.
Yeah, we just got to give you, pretty much we're here to give you an opinion. And pretty much if you already had it looked at and you're going, well, I don't know, you call Frank. He knows. And if you're looking for a new car, call Wally.
Yeah.
He knows. That's what he does, the new car review we do every week.
That's right. And speaking of new car review, we're going to get to that here in a little bit. Wally's got some great information on that, and you guys know we've shopped it, and respectfully, we're going to tell you where you can find this new car that's coming up later. Yep. But first, man, we can't forget. Harley-Davidson been around since 1903. You drive a Harley. Tell us what you're feeling when you are hanging on a Harley, Mr. Wally.
Well, I'll tell you what you feel riding down the road. There is nothing, and today's a prime example right here in southern Arizona, here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
If you look outside, beautiful weather, big clouds, fresh air, and the nice thing that I really, really like about riding my Harley is the fact that you basically enrich in every one of your senses. Sight, smell, butt cheek feel.
So wait a minute now. You said like stimulation, like some of us
you gotta have a comfortable seat, but a couple of these look pretty comfortable.
I'm saying like some of us out there, you guys know, you're listening. Maybe you headed up to Castle and Coasters, got on a roller coaster, and that was your afternoon of goodness in the wind. We're talking riding a Harley, and so if you've had a stressful week, man,
okay. I can even like bring it down to a Nats thing right there.
Okay. We want to bring it down.
Okay. I work out of my house. I have a home office.
All right.
If I'm having a bad day, I think nothing of going out in the garage, throwing my leg over my Harley, and I'll take off for an hour and come back and refire again. Yeah. So you don't need to wait for the weekend. I mean, especially if you're not, working for somebody that won't let you go. I work for myself.
Sure.
So if I'm having a bad day, I'll tell you, inside probably 10 minutes of riding my bike, I have forgotten whatever I was upset about.
Yeah, that's the feel of a Harley. And setting up for the show here, we talked to a bunch of great staff members here at Desert Wind here in Mesa, Harley-Davidson. And one of the things that seemed to be the main tone is that the quality, the history, the racing relationships, and we're going to cover some of that storied racing history. Man, you got everybody from airline pilots to stockbrokers to librarians, I missed the R on that one, that hang in that Harley culture. That's incredible.
Well, it's kind of funny because you'll go out, every Harley-Davidson dealership has what they call as a hog chapter.
Right.
Harley Owners Group. So when you come down here, you buy a Harley, you're invited to join the family, the Harley Owners Group out of this dealership. So you get to not only ride by yourself if you want, but you can have a family reunion pretty much every weekend with the Hog Group, and you can go out and ride. You can meet people. You can have fun. It's like a family reunion. You're out on the road. You're having fun. You're meeting people. In the old days, there was nothing like riding a Harley to feel like a badass.
And, man, that's what we need with all the social media, digital goodness, great. It's breaking our families up. We need to get on a Harley and bring the families back together. Steve, have you ridden a Harley?
You know what? I have not.
Okay,
I have relatives that have Harleys. I'd love to. I'd love to maybe that's something I need to do. My next bucket list is get myself a Harley and go up to Sturgis. Because, I've been up to Sturgis during the crazy bike rallies.
Oh, man.
Wait a minute.
I love the Black Hills.
Yeah.
That's some large goals right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's I'm going to retire maybe at 54. So if I do that, maybe it's time,
Yeah. Well, going back to the early days, before we get into the automotive news here shortly, going back to 1903, boy, Harley started off modest beginnings and sort of in the barnyard, like a lot of good...
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Just happened to be where I was born.
Everything.
1903.
Cheese and motorcycles. There you go. What more do you need?
That's right. And Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Oh, yeah. No, I grew up in the Midwest. I know all about that.
Yeah, and you talk about back in the late 1890s, we're talking... the soup du jour was a bicycle. If you went from horse carriage and, hey, that guy's got a bicycle down there. We got to get a bicycle. And then the Harley brothers, they got together and they said, well, we gotta make that thing a little faster.
Yes.
And so in 1903, of course, Daimler-Benz, we got to cover. Daimler was all to do with the start of,
the internal combustion motor.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And maybe they didn't do as good a job as Ford in making it practical for, the everyday common.
But they were on the other side of the pond, and we didn't know that over here.
And they were expensive. Those,
yes.
Could you imagine if you made, $1,000 a year, and here's the early model Mercedes Daimlers, I should say, were big money. I mean, you'd had to be rich to afford anything mechanized.
Well, right, and you'd have to be able to get it from Europe over to the U.S., and that was kind of struggling.
Yeah, who had time for that?
Yeah.
We didn't want to have to get on a boat and journey for 2 months or whatever it took.
With Christopher Columbus and the sails,
Yeah, but that iconic Harley starting out in 1903, of course, the signature 45-degree V-twin. That was there because the competitors at the time just had one single kind of little...
Yeah, everything was one cylinder. So that's what Harley was known for, right, to start with, is like, how do we go faster? Well, let's add another cylinder. Go figure.
Yeah. And, of course, the legendary history, World War I coming around.
Yeah.
We always think about, like, Jeep and what Jeeps as a brand has contributed to some of the unfortunate world wars, but it was an American drive. And, they went from that gray classic color Harley did back in the early 1900s to that olive color for the war movement.
Yes.
And
they got one back there, too, that's got a big star on the side. It totally looks like a World War II.
Well, maybe we'll live stream that for you guys. We're here at Desert Wind's Harley-Davidson. Desert Wind, I should say. I keep putting an S on that. Do apologize.
Well, the wind is blowing.
I'm saying that's what I'm feeling. I was on that test machine over there, and so you guys know we're going to have quite a few staff members come on board. Accessories is a big thing. Perhaps you already own a Harley and you need some accessories. This is also a place for you.
Absolutely.
Big time, as well as
it's
service.
an incredible place. Again, like I said, I forget how cool this place really is. I walk in, I go, oh, yeah, this is cool.
But first, I think we got to cover some of this automotive news situation.
Yeah, sure we do.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on in the world of automotive news. And, I got to bring it up, autonomous vehicles. I'm just not going to stop talking about this autonomous situation.
You and your autonomous vehicle.
I know, and I'm not being paid by Elon Musk, I'll tell you
How
that
are we going to do an autonomous motorcycle? We have to have the 3 wheels, though.
Well,
it had to be a chopper.
Yeah.
We got a 3-wheeler right over here.
We can make it autonomous then.
I'm saying if it's autonomous, it better have some
2
chrome.
wheels? I don't know how that's going to work. So.
Can you put an exhaust kit on a self-driving car? Well, anyway, we never thought about this, but there was some news recently on some reports about what is the angle between these auto-driving vehicles and going through a car wash. Wally, how would one of these autonomous with all these cameras and radar and LiDAR manage to get through a 150-foot car wash?
I don't think it would.
I don't think so either. So my question to you listening, I want your input. Do you think an autonomous vehicle would make it through a car wash? Do you think the engineers would have planned for that? I want you to call in 480-655-8870. We want your take. Will a self-driving vehicle be a nightmare in a car wash? You can also text 480-655-8870. We also have another bit of technology news. Ford has officially picked the city of Miami as the launch of their self-driving vehicle for Domino's Pizza, people. So you'll have a car just pull up. It'll have its little heated compartment. May not be a driver, although driver will have to be.
You don't have to tip them then.
Well, yeah.
Well, how's it getting from the car to the door?
Well, they haven't figured that out. Susie the robot, I don't know. But Miami was picked. Getting a pizza delivered in Miami could soon require no interaction with a human being. It's as simple as that. Although I will tell you, the law on autonomous right now, and Congress is actually going to set this for 10, 12, 15 years in the makes. If you have an autonomous in the future, you will still have to have somebody behind the wheel. What's
the point?
Well, we're getting there. The Jetsons didn't happen overnight.
The question is, can it actually be safer? Can it actually be safer if the computer is operating it and the person's just there for an emergency backup? That's, I guess, what they're thinking.
Has your computer ever crashed?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, so Ford is messing around with that, and I think it's it's a part of branding. Each manufacturer does want to take sort of the lead on autonomous, or as close to autonomous.
But if they say you're going to have somebody behind the wheel, we're going to find those people sleeping, eating, texting, doing whatever, making out. Whatever.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We posed it last week to you guys. You called in. We asked you about who's at fault. There was an autonomous vehicle that went through the intersection on a red light, and I think most were overwhelmingly saying that was a human error.
I think so.
I think so, too.
It should have been. If not, we're in trouble.
That's it. So we are at Desert Wind here at Harley-Davidson here in Mesa, Arizona. I want you guys to stay tuned. Your car care, your community. If you got any car care questions, give us a call. Or, hey, we're talking Harley-Davidson. Now's the time. Give us a call, 480-655-8870. Stay tuned. We're going to cover some more of the history.
JB from Bolt-On Technology, the Wiser Advisor, joins us next. Once again, live from Desert Wind on Country Club, just north of Southern in Mesa on 88.7 The Pulse.
This is Wrench Nation with your hosts, Frank and Steve.
Live from Desert Wind Harley-Davidson on Country Club, just north of Southern in Mesa. Frank, Wally hanging out today with the Harleys.
That's right. We're talking 115 years of legendary history. We talked a little bit about that World War I movement with Harley, going from a gray to
in
olive gray.
World War I,
the
government ordered 20,000 Harley-Davidson microphones.
Microphones?
I'm such a DJ. Motorcycles. 20,000 cycles in World War I. Even more in World War II.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And, of course, that bar and shield will continue to grow into the future. Wally, you were going to say something about the Harley.
Well,
brand.
One of the things that it just came up right there, as far as the military ordering all those Harley-Davidsons. Yeah. You think about it, almost everybody's a right-hander. There are a few lefties out there, but everybody's a right-hander. The throttle is on the right side of a Harley-Davidson.
Right.
Okay, so you're riding, say you're an Army guy. You're riding along, you're in World War I, World War II.
You got to shoot your gun.
Yeah, how's that work?
Sure.
Yeah, guess what? They made left-handed throttles.
Oh, nice.
So you could have your Thompson submachine gun under your right arm, blasting away at the bad guys at the same time you're riding your Harley. And back then, you got to remember, too, the roads across the country, they weren't paved. They were dirt.
Yeah.
They were dirt.
They were barely going on roads. They were pretty much going up and down the hills, especially over in World War I.
Yes. So Harley-Davidson, a long history of being rugged.
Sure.
A long history of supporting the USA and our military.
Yep.
Yeah, I understood it that one of the original Harley brothers, his wife was like, you're not going to race. When they started to get into the racing side of things, he said, you know what? His wife said, you can climb up a hill and race, but you're not doing any sort of track racing. And that was a big thing.
Well, the track racing, now think about it. It wasn't a track like we think now. It was a board track.
Yeah.
They were built out of like 2x4s put together.
Yeah.
So when these guys went down, they were liable to get a splinter that was about 18 inches long.
That made me cringe right there.
Well, they didn't. I don't think it ran brakes either.
No, it was primitive, but they all wanted to go fast. I guess they called those race teams the Wrecking Crew. 100. Literally, you'd get wrecked. Besides the bike, but you'd get wrecked. Your wife would be all upset. But pretty interesting history. And you guys call in 480-655-8870.
I'm looking at the text, too, by the way, remotely. If you want to text anything, I've got the text window open here at Desert Wind. All right, so let's bring in the Wiser Advisor, JB from Bolt On Technology. JB, welcome to the show.
Yo, guys, thanks for having me on board.
Hey, JB, have you ever ridden a Harley?
I actually have not, but I'm a BMW bike rider.
Oh,
what?
Hey,
what did he say?
Hey, bike riders are bike riders.
Yeah,
man. We're all brothers when it comes to that.
Definitely. So, and speaking of perhaps some of you that we talked earlier about, maybe you've never been on a bike. I'm one of them guys. We're going to have Mark Weiss. There is a riding academy happening right here at Desert Wind. And if you're not sure about how to get on one of these Harleys, you've always been interested, they have that. We're going to talk to Mark Weiss next. But, JB, you've got a question for us. What are you challenging us in relationship to the Harleys this week?
Well, in relationship to the Harleys, here is my question. Harley-Davidson Company's iconic logo was originally trademarked back in 1911. What else did Harley-Davidson try to apply a trademark to that could be related to their brand? Was it chrome motorcycle parts, leather jackets, or the sound of their V-twin engine?
Whoa. Wait a minute now. Those are, I think, all three of them. I wouldn't understand why they wouldn't want leather chrome.
I know that.
All right, well, if you guys listening think you can answer this, repeat that question.
Yeah, what's the question one more time?
All right, Harley-Davidson's company logo was originally trademarked in 1911. What else did Harley-Davidson try to trademark that could be related to their brand? Chrome motorcycle parts, leather jackets, the sound of their V-twin engine.
Wow. I mean, they all sound good. If you guys think you got the answer, you can text or give us a call, 480-655-88. Hey, there's a bunch of folks right here, right now, raising their hands right here at Desert Wind. I'm sure they know the answer, but give us a call or text us, 480-655-8870. Do you think that second trademark was chrome? Was it leather goodness, or was it the sound? That trademark. So, hey, JB, tell us what's happening on your side of the fence there in terms of the weather as we sit in some gorgeous goodness right now to tease you out a little bit. How has the weather been out there?
Well, today is pretty darn nice. We're around 60 degrees and sunny, but unfortunately we're about to get hit with a pretty big storm You got flood warnings and all that for Thursday and the Friday.
And you got weather that's pretty much like ours now.
Well, that's like ours.
We're at 60 degrees today, too, but we're going to get up to 80, so we're not going the other way.
Yeah. So it seemed like, according to the history of Harley, that Sportster back in 1957, when that came around, that was a big deal. That created an iconic portion under that brand as it is today. And we are going to talk to folks here at Desert Wind Harley-Davidson about that. Wally, what are you driving?
I have, wait a minute. Excuse me. What am I driving or what am I riding?
What are you free spiriting on in the wind, Harley-wise?
Oh, Harley-wise. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, you are what you ride, right? I ride a 93 Fat Boy.
Now, come on now. Fat Boy, what does that mean? I don't know anything about it.
Okay, that's one of the... Yeah. Well, both. I mean, that's kind of what drew me in to start with, because like I said, you are what you ride.
Right.
Now, my Fat Boy, I've got probably close to 150,000 miles on that. Been all over the country, many times all over the country. Just had, I still have it for a reason. It's as good as it was the day it rolled off the showroom floor.
Yeah.
Wow. You take care of it. You do your maintenance. Go through a lot of tires, back tires. Pretty normal for me. Done all kinds of motor work to it. Done suspension work to it. Done a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You make it your own, and that what you have right here at a Harley-Davidson dealer, Desert Wind, right here. You see accessories. We haven't even touched on the parts and the service yet. If you go back into the parts department, you can probably double your investment just back in the parts department, and then you got to go, unless you're going to put it all on yourself, you got to go see the service guys to get it done by a Harley certified mechanic.
Yeah, and you don't get to 150K without any kind of service, no doubt about it.
Lots of service.
And it'd be interesting, maybe you guys can let us know what your thoughts on this. Do you think an automobile owner is a bit more maintenance conscious, or is the bike owner a bit more maintenance conscious? I'm thinking bike owner.
The bike owner.
JD?
Your life depends on that bike. So if you don't spend the time walking around it, looking at it, you're in a bad place. I mean, as I mentioned, I ride a BMW motorcycle, and I've been doing it for over 30 years. And it saved my skin a couple of times walking around the bike and seeing something sticking out of the tire and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm going to say bikers are more interested in servicing their vehicles.
Yeah, no doubt. That to me, I mean, the safety, in a passenger cab vehicle, I don't need those brakes because, or if they hear it squeaking or grinding, they're in the cab, they feel more secure. But you're on a bike, man, you got to make sure you got brakes.
Yes.
No doubt about that. I've got Mark Weiss is coming up, the Riding Academy manager here at Desert Winds. We're going to talk about that here shortly. But I wanted to get into some movies, people. You can't have the Legend of Harley without talking about some of the movies.
I've seen Meatloaf on a Harley in a couple of movies.
Yeah, Meatloaf for sure. Ghost Rider, Nicolas Cage. Of course, that was the Panhead Chopper. Wild Hogs.
Sure.
John Travolta.
Oh, yeah, that was not too long
Easy
ago.
Rider.
I was waiting for you to say that. See?
Peter Fonda. Iconic Easy Rider.
Yeah, and then, of course, the Sportster, which was in Animal House.
Yes.
I mean, so brand positioning in movies, Harley's been through thick and thin. Has always been
well,
around.
There's not a bigger name in bikes.
No. Well, I think it's more than just a bike. We touched upon something, and this is straight up, and you guys know we're a community. We're real and raw. But something's going on in our society. We're just kind of disconnected. I don't have the answers as to why. Maybe something to do with a little bit of this action, cell phones, digital. But you have a Harley. You have a family. Yes. Talk to me about these hog clubs. Okay. They're all throughout the country. I buy a Harley. Tell me what's going down with the hog club.
Okay, Harley Owners Group. That's what the HOG stands for.
Okay.
So, of course, over the years, HOG has also been an acronym for the Harley-Davidson. Hey, I'm riding a HOG. Okay, well, that's where the HOG chapter comes in. These people get together at least every month, big meeting in the dealership. The dealerships really take good care of them, too, because they're their customers. So when you come down to a HOG group, you come to the meeting, there's food, there's beverages, not alcohol, there's beverages. We don't endorse drinking and riding. It takes all of your senses.
It's a family affair. You're talking like I bring my daughter. She's 8. She's going to come by. and she's going to hang out as a family.
Yes.
If she's riding on the back of
no problem.
My hog.
Make sure she's got a helmet on.
Of course. Yeah. Helmet safety. And we're going to talk about the accessories. Speaking of helmets, you got quite the helmet with your ride. Talk to us about helmets and the advancements in helmets.
Okay, so starting, way back in the day, it used to be like pretty much no helmet to a leather helmet, kind of like the old football helmets. And now we've progressed all the way to, I've got multiple helmets.
Wait a minute, the leather helmet, that was basically, I'm going to crack my skull, but at least I won't have abrasions. Is that what we're talking about? It was like football.
It was kind of like keeping it all inside one little bucket.
Yes, yes. Be there. Hey, JB, you're a big rider. What kind of helmet do you have, brother?
I'm using an Aria right now, which is a full face one that goes out here. I ride in the winter too, and that's a pretty nice helmet. It's got all sorts of ventilation for the warmer weather, and then when the colder weather comes in, you shut it down and it holds all the air out. It's very nice.
Yeah. Hey, I want to switch gears a little bit. We didn't formally do the shout-outs. Of course, Facebook, you people rock. We've had quite a few jump on. We appreciate you. But we had a question on Facebook, not so much related to a Harley, but Boost Pierre out of Miami, Florida area, is taking his ride and moving to Maine. His question is, what does he do from that warm weather area of Florida?
Wow.
How does he prepare going up to Maine? And what comes to mind, first things first, is tires. JB, you're up there in the northeast in PA. Tires is a big deal in the cold climate.
Oh, heck yeah, because you have to be sure you have the proper adhesion to the ground. But here's the other thing that's happening. We're starting to move into spring, and we're officially getting into pothole season where the roads are just literally opening up left and right. So he's going to have really good tires, and he really needs to pay attention to the road because the gravel that gets thrown up on that winds up on all the turns, and that could be a real hazard right there.
Yeah, so all things tires, struts, shocks, suspension, maybe get that alignment that you've been lagging on. Check all your control arm bushings, ball joints, all your linkages. You want to make sure that you are prepared for any of that northeast, especially up in Maine, not only dealing with the snow and ice.
Lots of rain, too, though.
Rain, and it's just brutal. Certainly the rubber, I'd go through the coolant system. Perhaps, look, you're hanging out in the warmer climates. Let's face it, here in Phoenix, now, our summers, we better make sure our coolant is squared away, but perhaps maybe there's been some negligence down in the south. Boy, you go up north into the frigid temperatures, you better make sure.
Heater works.
Heater! You can't forget the accoutrements. I mean, that's the last thing on my mind. I get a lot of folks coming into the garage and the heater core is leaking, and no, it's summer. We're going to bypass it. They're just not going to. So I hope that helps you, Boost. We appreciate you guys. You guys know you can get on a Facebook if you're hanging out over there and message us. We're here to help you out.
JB, one more time, the Wiser Advisor, give us that question. I forgot to offer a prize. So let's just take a text-in winner right now at 480-655-8870. That's 480-655-8870. JB, one more time, what's the question?
Okay, Harley-Davidson's company iconic logo was originally trademarked in 1911. What else did Harley-Davidson try to trademark that could be related to their brand?
Okay.
Chrome motorcycle parts, leather jackets, and the sound of their V-twin.
All right, 480-655-8870. Text your answer right now. We'll give you your choice, either 4 Renaissance Festival tickets, or I'll take you to the Pot of Gold Music Festival for all 3 days, or this weekend's McDowell Mountain Music Festival. You choose whatever you want. It's your prize. Get the answer. Text us right now at 480-655-8870.
So it's like that classroom. Right now, here at Desert Wind, Harley-Davidson, on that question, you see that class, everybody's raising their hands. We're holding back. We want you to give us the answer.
All right, first text coming in. Is it sound, JB?
Yes.
It's sound. All right, we have a winner.
Everybody clap for that one. Yeah, we don't have a
Let me
dinger.
get this person's name. You have a ding, 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 ding.
But that's amazing to think. Way back when the sound was signature.
Potato, 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 potato.
That's it. And interestingly.
Potato.
Oh, potato. Look at you, East Coast. Yeah, definitely. The thing about it is there were some changes since we're talking about that signature sound. Some of that had to be dummy down for the war movement, as well as the headlights. The lighting could not be electrical. They actually worked way back in the day. The Army made them change that to more of a gas carbide situation where you dropped a little water in there and it lit the carbide and it lit up. They just wanted to be conservative. So that's a little tidbit of history. You guys stay tuned. JB, what's going on in the world of bolt-on technology? You've got the review. A lot of folks want to review mechanics on Yelp or anything on Yelp. What do you got on the review for?
Well, what we're trying to do for the customers is that you find a shop that's really good to you, and you drive in, you drive out, and you're very happy. You want to share that with other people. We now give them the ability to use what we call Review Manager. But finish your job and you paid for everything and you leave, that shop will send you a little text. And when you get that text as a customer, you tap on a little link in there, and it takes you right into Google or Facebook, and you can rate your shop and share with everybody else the great experience that you're having there. And then other people start taking part of it, and that makes the shop successful, and they'll be there for a much longer time.
Yeah, I like that. And I've always said, man, you don't have to write a book on Yelp. If there is a problem within a business, whether it's basket weaving, automotive, what have you, tell somebody, management-wise, because, hey, they may have a problem in their kitchen, and that's a way for them to grow. So we love that over at Bolt-On, the ability to review. And JB, any parting words for you?
Thanks for having me on board, guys.
You rock, brother. Good to hang with you.
All right, JB, the Wiser Advisor. We'll talk to you next week on Wrench Nation.
With your hosts, Frank and Steve.
Yes, we're going to be back in just a few minutes, and we have a winner. Her name is Patty. The winner's name is Patty Blewett of Chandler.
Rock on, Patty. You guys stay tuned. We got Mark Weiss, Riding Academy Manager, right here, Desert Wind Harley-Davidson next.
Woohoo!
Wrench Nation Car Talk. Call or text your questions now. 480-655-8870.
On the road at Desert Wind Harley-Davidson in Mesa on Country Club, just north of Southern, south of Broadway. Awesome place. Come by and see us. We're going to be here till 5 today.
Yeah, what's really cool, such a family environment, great selection. Remember, you buy any new Harley-Davidson motorcycle from Desert Wind, you get free tires for life. That's a big deal. Wally, we were talking a little bit about tires as a big replacement issue for...
Tires is the number one replacement if you own a Harley-Davidson because they're so much fun to ride and there's so much power, so much torque. That rear tire lasts right around 5,000 miles for me, anywhere from 3,500 to 5,000, depending on how hard I'm riding, if I'm riding highway miles or stop and go in town. But if you buy a new Harley here and every time you wear a tire out, they'll replace it for free. That's $300 to $500 savings right there.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good deal there. Speaking of some of the benefits that we have here at Desert Wind, we talked about, well, my situation. I didn't really grow up mechanically. Guys, if you're listening, I grew up in New York City where we had subways and, we took taxis and things. Sure. I know, Wally's laughing. I didn't really start driving. I mean, I started wrenching back in 89, 90. But I never really had an opportunity or a chance to get on a motorcycle. I mean, I've done some action with ATVs, but
sure.
So one of the things that's really, really cool, if you guys are listening and you thought about getting on a bike and maybe buying a nice Harley, but you've never driven like me, and I'm being honest and transparent, I'm not ashamed of it. They have a Riding Academy, and we've got Mark Weiss. Mark, welcome to the show. If I had my little clap button, audience would be clapping for you. There you are.
Good to be here.
Mark Weiss, you are the Riding Academy manager.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about this Riding Academy here at Desert Wind.
Riding Academy is our motorcycle rider education program. And we have our bread and butter is our beginner's course, the new rider class. And that class is designed for someone who's never, just like you, who's never been on a motorcycle ever before. Maybe they come in, they're looking at the bikes, they're really interested, want to get started, and just don't know where to go. It's kind of an intimidating situation to be in. We take that barrier away.
Yeah,
We've got a class right here.
You actually will engage someone, like you did I. Before we went live here on the show, I got on there, and, I know how to drive a clutch on a vehicle, of course, but I've never been on a bike, and you kind of walked that whole process, and I think within 15 minutes, I was feeling a little more comfortable. Are you seeing the same with the folks that come through here, that their first time doing this little test drive, if you if you will, on this riding academy bike that you've got.
Yeah,
out there.
the jump start. That's exactly why we've got it. And a lot of people come in, they've never driven with a manual transmission. They know what it is, but they've never operated one. So again, there's another barrier, and we've got that. Someone doesn't even have to sign up for that. They can just come in. They're greeted at the door. We talk about bikes a little bit, and they say, I really don't know what I want to do, how to get started. And we can take them. The sales staff can take them. We can go right outside and say, here's one of our class bikes. We'll get on it and go through some of the basics. And like you said, 10 or 15 minutes, we've got shifting gears, some basic understanding of how things work. And then they know if they're ready to go on. They've caught the bug and they're ready to go into the new rider course.
Yeah, after my little 15 minutes, I'm ready to join the hog club right now, Wally. But I got to walk out buying a bike right now. So let me ask you this, Mark. You have this initial jump start. Gets folks literally jump started with their riding experience. You also take it to some higher levels. You have other courses that you offer here at Desert Wind. Talk about those courses, maybe some advanced riding courses, things like that.
Well, the next level is the first basic class, and that's to go to the new riders course. And someone will spend about 20 hours with us in that class, and we provide the bike. So there are really no barriers to taking the class. Then from there, we go on. We have a skilled riders course. The new riders course is for someone without skills. We have a skilled rider class that's a one-day curriculum, and someone comes in, they get to ride their own bike. So it could be someone who's been riding for years or someone who's just recently out of the new riders course, and they come back with their own bike. They're like, okay, I rode the 500 in class. I liked it, but it turns out I didn't start on a 500. I went and bought a Softail. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have the confidence on this bike. They come back and do the skilled riders class, and in a day we've built that skill level and confidence level.
All right, Mark, the people want to know, what's your favorite Harley-Davidson?
Road King.
Why is that?
Everybody's different. It's hard to say. I just really like that bike. I think I like it. I'm tall, and the Road King's roomy, and it doesn't have a lot of accessories on it. I'm not into the big fairings and saddlebags and all the electronics and things. I like a straightforward motorcycle, and the Road King's there.
Amen. And that's what makes Harley-Davidson really unique, is that there is a motorcycle for everyone. And I think that's what makes, we all talk about the freedom and the wind and getting out there. And like you said earlier, Wally, I mean, you had a stressful day. Bam, you're getting on your ride for a good hour. That's what makes it really cool. I mean, here we are, Desert Wind. We're looking at the showroom, multiple colors, different platforms out here. Tell me about your history, Wally, with your HD. Were you always into the ride that you had? What did you start on? Did you?
I started on a Honda 50 when I was 8 years old. So I've been riding since I was 8 years old. Did you ever have those dreams? And I'm sure you have, but all your listeners out there, have you ever had a dream that you're flying?
Oh, I have them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what riding is like.
When my taxes are due, I feel like I got to fly on out of there. But no, you're right. It is. I mean, it's and I got to be honest with you guys, Mark. We talked a little bit about this. I'm missing out. I mean, I feel like I'm missing out. It's not that I never wanted to. I just, with life the way it is for me, particularly in a lot of your clients that come in here first time, boy, once they're on there.
It's a freedom machine.
Yeah.
It truly is a freedom machine. And, I ride a fat boy, so I'm not a bagger person. Same thing. Nothing like the wind in my face. Now, I wear a full face helmet, but nothing like running 100 miles an hour on your Harley, face into the wind and just doing it.
Yeah, I like the Road King with the windshield off.
Yeah, there you go. Road King's nice.
Yep.
This explains Mark's hair.
That's helmet hair.
That's it, helmet hair. So let me ask you, we talked about this, of course. Look, we got most people coming in to buy a motorcycle, they've got their experience level and so on. But you ever get somebody in here that just says, hey, I don't need to worry about how I ride this thing, I can ride. And they really don't. Let's take someone like myself. And if I came in here feeling like a big shot, and I said, I want that one, whatever, $18,000, it's beautiful, I like it. My wife's in the car, I tell her I want to meet her home. I don't get on to this Jumpstart program. Have you had people like big shots make some mistakes leaving on?
Yeah. It's kind of a rude awakening.
Oh, yeah.
But by having the program here, we really can take a lot of the need for that away. It's not like they're going to come into a shop that has no way to help someone get started. And you got a choice of either walk out without a bike or you try to ride it out on your own. Here, we've got a lot of steps, even someone who hasn't ridden for a while.
So, I mean, what's the good starter bike then? I mean, is there one, or do you just pick anything you want? If someone were to ask you today, come in and buy one.
It's got to be something that you're confident on.
Yeah.
And we've got Harley-Davidson a few years ago came out with the street models. We've got a 500 and a 750. They're full-size road bikes, but they're the lightest weight bikes Harley has. They're made to be easy to handle and easy to operate, and that's a great starting point.
I mean, if I were to get one, like I said, I've never ridden one either. I rode some dirt bikes when I was a kid, but if I look behind, that might be too much for me when I start out.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why when you look around, we've got
Everything.
all these models stretched from one end of the building to the other.
I love the classic here. Wow.
Yeah, so talking about the models, we are actually going to get some more staff on the mics here and get them all dialed in to talk about the various models. God, you got to know. Hey, if you're a seasoned Harley rider, that's cool too. We'd love to hear from you. Maybe tell us some stories. You mentioned the freedom, the wind in your hair, being able to get away and just sort of fly. We'd love to hear your story, 480-655-8870, or if you want to text us, a one-word explanation. We talked about freedom. We talked about flying. Maybe you want to text us that one word that describes the feeling.
Badass.
2 words is good, too. There you are.
That's one word.
Yeah, see, there you are. Mark Weiss, the Riding Academy manager, we talked about that kind of jumpstart program with that. And what do you see in the future for Harley-Davidson? I read somewhere that 2019, they're looking at electric. Are we seeing a shift in demo? I think it would probably be safe to say yes. You got younger, like my daughter. Would she buy a Harley?
Don't know. The electric bike, that's an interesting concept, and it's out in the future still.
Definitely, and it's something the traditional Harley rider like myself, you're not going to get me on the electric bike. But you said the demographic is changing, and that's correct. Because if you look at kids nowadays, you're driving hybrid cars, you're driving electric cars. They've never felt, that big V-twin between their legs. They don't know. So if you don't know, you might be able to be enticed by that Harley-Davidson brand and still get on an electric bike.
Yeah. I don't know, man. How do you get on a bike that's not making noise? I mean, you're up in the countryside, and this thing is just... I want to hear some mufflers in this thing.
Yeah, but didn't you ever put, playing cards on the spokes of your bicycle?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the technology, man. I could see autonomous vehicles, that sort of thing is blazing away. But, man, don't touch a motorcycle. I don't believe you need to mess with that. I mean...
I agree.
I think that affects the wind and freedom, and you got to hear it.
Well, it's part of the sensation, the vibration of the motor, the sound, the sound. I've ridden the electric bikes with the fact that they don't make sound, to me, makes them dangerous because the loud pipes save lives.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a good point. Safety. Stay tuned. We got some more in-staff guests here. Desert Winds, Harley-Davidson. Mark Weiss, thank you. Riding Academy Manager. If you're in the area, come on by, and Mark Weiss will show you. Get you going on the Jumpstart program. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks for talking with us.
Wrench Nation continues after 4 right here. Don't go anywhere. Live from Desert Wind Harley-Davidson in Mesa on Country Club. Come see us.
Wrench Nation Car Talk. Call or text your questions now. 480-655-8870.
All right, we are live at Desert Wind Harley-Davidson on Country Club right in Mesa. It's awesome to be here. Such a cool place hanging out today. And Frank, it's just a great time being around these Harleys.
It is. There's a lot of great Harleys here. We're going to talk
about eye candy.
Eye candy, big time. We're going to talk to Chad Parrish here in a little bit, next segment. We're actually going to dive deeper into the model lineup and maybe see what suits you in that.
I want to know how technology has been integrated recently with all the new technology. That's something that I want to know what's happening on a bike with the technology now.
You know, one of the things they got going on is probably some of the best sounding stereos you've heard anywhere, let alone on a motorcycle.
Really?
Hey, I've seen it at the traffic stop. You know, you got to respect somebody on their bike. They're in the mode, they're grooving, and not only they got the feel, but they got the tunes cooking out. We talked about the legendary history going back to World War I, and we have some history. This is something new, guys, we wanted to introduce to the show, and that is our Tales from the Strip segment. All that means is, hey, perhaps you're listening and you have a tale from the strip. Now, Wally, we didn't say strip pole.
No.
We're talking about.
Where's one? Oh, right here. I can strip on your.
No,
please don't.
No. Spare us. No. What we're talking about is your account of history as it relates to you listening. You may have a story with a hot rod, a muscle car, or even, hey, if you got that Harley story, we'd like to premiere it here on the show, and would love to have you call in. But now we are starting off Tales from the Strip. Greg Buckley, do we got?
Sounds like Mr. Buckley's on the phone. Our Blue Hen of Delaware. Buckley, are you there?
I'm here, guys. How are you?
Good, Bree. Turn that phone up a little bit over there.
All right, we've got Greg Buckley. You guys know the name, Buckley's Auto Care out of Wilmington, Delaware. Greg is a show contributor. We talked a little over the last few weeks, and Greg, you kept mentioning Dad, and then you mentioned some more stories. Do we have Dad on the line?
We got Dad right here. We got the one and only Mr. Gene Buckley, the originator.
Yeah, originator. Yeah, we're giving some claps up. Gene, thank you so much. You know, when I went to visit your garage and hang out with Greg, I missed you out there, man. And so welcome to the show. It's great to have you on. You've been in the automotive industry, Gene. How many years now?
It's been a little over 45 years.
Okay. Now tell us a little back history. A lot of garages kind of started the same way back in the day. You started in the automotive industry as a gas station, yeah?
Yes, I did. 1966. July.
1966. Wow. And so what was the
on my birthday, by the way, July 14th.
Oh, this is a little birthday. So you got gas in your blood, Gene. That's what we're talking about. So it's kind of a natural thing, Gene. It's a natural thing for a lot of us in the automotive industry as wrenches, maybe shop owners, and even service riders. We kind of have an affinity to all things racing. Talk to me. You mentioned something about Big Daddy Don Garlitz. Tell us a little fun with Mr. Don Garlitz way back in the day.
Well, this was the episode, or I should say the episode. It was something that happened at my service station business during the summer of, I can't think of what year it was.
Like 69, I think.
69?
I think it's 69, yeah.
All right. Could have been.
All right, so paint the picture. You're at the service station in 1969. Right. All right.
Yeah, and one day I looked outside, and all of a sudden, in front of the gas pumps was this dragster on a trailer, and it had the name Don Garlitz on it, and Swamp Rat.
Hilarious.
I said, "What the heck's this doing out here?" And of course,
so wait, Mister, you talking about the grandfather of drag racing?
Yeah.
Is pulled up to your station, and you're just kind of doing your thing, and here's a dragster. What were you thinking at that moment in time?
I knew he didn't want any gas because we weren't selling any alcohol or anything like that. But I later found out that one of his crew members came over and asked if they could park it on the shop lot. And I said, "Yeah, of course. It'll draw attention, if anything else." And it did. But I found out that he was visiting a doctor who had offices across the street from my location. And I never did see Don go in or out but his crew
came over and said thanks.
They assured me he was in there.
Yeah, and
I found out that he had stopped in Delaware. He was on his East Coast tour, and he stopped in Delaware because he wanted to get some engine work done at a locally well-known machine shop.
Right.
And
gotcha.
When it happened to be a machine shop that did some of my work, so I was very familiar with it. And called
everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody. It seemed like just like today. I mean, no matter how big an industry is, we have our network of people. Now, I've got to ask you a question. We got a lot of garage owners. We got mechanics listening from all over the country. Gene, if you had to go back in time as a gas station operator back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, what was, I mean, I know there were a lot of challenges, but what challenge did you have that just every day that was it? It almost got to the point where it was just part of business and you just had to absorb it. What challenge, big challenge did you have with the gas station back in the day?
That challenge probably was me.
That's my biggest challenge was my sons, both of them. Greg's not my only child, but I have another son who was is working for me, and yes, they were both the biggest challenges.
We didn't try.
All right, so you guys know Buckley's Auto Care. If you go to that Facebook, there's a picture. I see this Gene Buckley originator. Is that you, Dad, crouching down, and is that baby Buckley in the diapers on the tire? Or who is that?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh goodness, I can see I can see him. He's like 13 months old. He can't even hold a ratchet together. Look, that's where it started.
But I'm telling him how I'm going to wash this tire and make that white wall clean on that old Fairlane. So.
That's a great picture. I invite you guys listening. Greg Buckley's on the show every week, but get on over to Buckley's Auto Care. Check out his Facebook. He's got some pretty cool pics there. Gene Buckley, the originator. What did you get into horsepower-wise back in the day?
Oh, that's it. You're talking about my race cars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're talking about
a race,
what did we start off with?
Yeah.
A dynamometer, I had a Boss 302, a 69 and a half, and I did have that on a dyno, and we did get somewhere off the scale on the dynamometer or dyno we were working with. It was over 650.
Well, we had like the cars you started off with. You had the 57 Fairlane. What was the first car you took to the strip?
Oh, that would be the 61. Galaxy 390.
The Galaxy. I thought we had the Galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a truck.
Yeah.
That car I had. I bought.
We had all kinds of stuff. We had that. We had the 67 fastback, the 390.
67 Mustang.
Right, the 390, and you were G-Stock champion with the Boss 302. We ate up all the Z's. There wasn't a Z around that could touch bad to death.
Wow. So let me ask you. Gene, was Mama Buckley supportive, or was she saying, "Hey, you better be careful"? Was she promoting some of that?
No, Mom's right along with us.
She was. There you go. That's a family affair. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll tell you,
I love that.
I got to tell you, the story I like the most is, and Mom's guy's mom is right behind us, so she's listening in. So anyway, the story I get to hear a lot, and I think I get this right, is that Mom and Dad we're just getting back here in Delaware. We're living in an apartment. It's me and I think Michelle, my sister, and Dad had to come home with bread and milk, but he comes home with a camshaft. So and Mom's going, Gene, why?
You got your priorities straight.
Exactly, it was priorities, and it was always to get that one extra second or two. So it was a big thrill. It was a big thrill, Dad. It really was.
Yeah. Hey, Gene, I've got a question for you going back. Sure. We got a lot of younger mechanics listening, and they're up and coming. Why did you start in the automotive industry back in the day as a service station operator? Why did you start that, Gene?
Well, I always wanted to be in business for myself. That was number one, being independent. I suppose being a service station operator was something that I always wanted to do. because it was related to automobiles. And that was one of my fantasies in life as a young man, that I was a good mechanic. I'm not saying I was great, but I was good. And
you like to help people. Genuinely, you like to help people. I mean, I can imagine day in and day out, you fix something. It doesn't change, right, Gene? I mean, even with all these new, with Control Area Network, Greg Buckley and I, we talk about that in the garage. At the end of the day, you're helping people, and I think that's the thrill that you solve the problem.
That's the big thing. That's the big thing, helping people.
I have another question for you before we wrap it up. I have a question. I want to know, Mr. Gene Buckley, how would you handle a bad Yelp review today? If you had to serve a station going back, if we had, does Dad know what Yelp? Dad, you know what Yelp is?
The bird emoji.
He knows what Yelp is. No, we've never briefed him on that.
How do you spell Yelp?
I think
Flip him the bird emoji.
Does it begin with an H?
There you go.
Help, yeah. Well,
I think the way that we always would handle it would be more of a one-to-one. Just customer come up and we talk it out. And you didn't need reviews back then. You had handshakes and phone calls and meet you at the pump and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what it was about. Well, I'll tell you what, we are privileged. Mr. Gene Buckley, thank you. We're going to have you on again on our Tales from the Strip. And, of course, Mr. Greg Buckley, Buckley's Auto Care. If you're out in Wilmington, Delaware, check out the Buckley clan. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and spending some time right here on Wrench Nation.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
You guys stay tuned. We got Chad Parrish, who's going to dive into some of the great models here. Desert Wind Harley-Davidson. We're going to dive in deeper on the Harley-Davidson lineup.
Car talk, car culture, car tips, car music, all that is car. This is Wrench Nation with your hosts, Frank and Steve.
Desert Wind Harley-Davidson in Mesa on Country Club. We are here till 5 o'clock.
Yes, welcome back, guys. If you got any questions, car care, or specifically any Harley questions, 480-655-8870, or maybe you want to share a story. And don't forget, Kickstart Saturday, this March 3rd, this Saturday from 9 to 3 p.m. We got a free pancake breakfast, free tire pressure top off, free safety inspection. This is the event this Saturday from 9 to 3 right here at Desert Wind Harley-Davidson.
I'm thinking free pancake breakfast is going to bring me in.
I'm going to give you some pancake breakfast this Saturday. People, come on out 9 to 3 p.m. right here at Desert Wind Harley-Davidson. And, of course, we kind of touched upon a couple of little tidbits of the models, but I'm saying we break it down right now. We've got a special guest, Chad Parrish. He's going to join in and tell us about... Whoa, Daddy! Whoa. That's what I'm talking about. I'll be honest, Chad, before we had Doug Kalita on from Kalita Motorsports, we had a little burnout going. I said, we can't have Chad on without some great, great sound coming. Welcome to the show, Chad.
Thanks, and it's great to be here. I appreciate it, Frank.
Yeah, and, we talked about some models. What model did we just fire up?
This here is a Harley-Davidson 2016 Harley-Davidson Softail Slim.
That's a beautiful bike.
This thing is all set up. It's really nice. They went back with you guys talking about the World War, 1 and 2 motorcycles. And
right.
Like that. That's what this was inspired
Very
by.
traditional. Very traditional. I don't see a whole lot of chrome like some of the other lineups. I like this bike. It's traditional. Tell us if I wanted something a little more chrome fancy, maybe a little more flashy. Each one of these Harleys says something. What model lineup would you have for somebody really getting deep as it comes stock? I know you can outfit them. Well, with some more bells and whistles.
One of them that actually pops out immediately, we can sit here right here and we can see this Heritage.
Oh, that Heritage.
Love that
so
one.
you can see that one with the 107. Those two classic colors are from throwback Harley as well.
Yeah.
That's very retro. But as far as keeping everything all nice and chrome and shiny, a lot of the motorcycles that we have here do have that option. And as you mentioned earlier, you can definitely add in your own flair, so to speak. to be able to get exactly what you want out of it, whether if it's the complete blacked out look, as people like to have it now these days, opposed to more of the chrome. But it all goes back to personal preference.
Yeah, behind me there's one with the blacked out look, the Pro Street Breakout here.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice bike.
Yeah, so I mean, traditionally, what's been a big like iconic seller? You mentioned Fat Boy that you're on.
Yep.
What model do you just consistently see over the years? Just people want, they come back for, they trade into the same one.
Yeah, that's a great question, Frank. I'm glad you asked it. Most of the time, we seem to be in a touring mindset these days.
Yeah.
So we sell a lot of street glides and we sell a lot of road glides. The difference between the two mainly are just that front fairing. One of them has what they call that bat wing fairing, and the other one is called the shark nose, which is rigid mount to the frame.
Yeah. I want you guys to know we're here at Desert Wind talking with Chad, Desert Wind Harley-Davidson, hanging out, discussing some of the models. And I will say we're going to have Paige in here soon. We're going to talk accessories. We're going to kind of split the time. I just alarmed Paige, you're going to be on up here soon. Accessories is a big deal. What model this year so far do you think is what's selling this year? Any difference from year over year?
It really hasn't. We're still pushing. A lot of the bikes out are going to be the road glides and street glides. What I'm really excited about for these days, that's coming up right now, that was just Harley just announced it recently, are the two new Sportster models that they have coming out with right now. Prior to that, they were an 883. They've turned them into the 1200 Iron, and the 48 Special.
Wow.
Both of these, Harley's, really going back as far as as we mentioned before, the colors on that specific motorcycle right there. They're doing a lot of throwback 70s, even to the graphics on the paint on the tank and everything like that too.
Wow.
They have little mini apes, so he was at that what they call the fists in the wind sort of feel that you have.
I'm saying anything in the wind on the Harley is game.
77 Super Glide, my first bike.
Was it? That's very nice.
Yeah.
I had mine was an 87 Softail, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I felt like I worked on it more than I wrote it, but but things have changed a lot since then. We're talking about earlier as far as like technology and everything like that goes too. I think a lot of the times the reason why our touring motorcycles are so popular these days is simply because Harley-Davidson recently came out with, I believe in 2014, if my memory serves me correctly, an infotainment system. So this infotainment system is basically almost kind of like when you buy a brand spanking new car and you have that, touch screen in your car. Harley-Davidson has set exactly.
I was asking about the technology that's being integrated. So that's
we see that with vehicles. I mean, they're essentially wrapping vehicles around the smartphone. Safe to say, on some of these cruise models, they're doing the same. It integrates.
Absolutely, they are completely hands-free.
Yeah.
If you were mentioning earlier, you had the full shell helmet.
Right.
You can link Bluetooth up with it at the same time.
Yeah.
So you can actually speak with somebody, listen to your radio, the whole bit.
Yeah. What else do you got? What other model lineups can we talk about?
Well, we do have the Street Glide. I mean, obviously that's those are our favorites. We have the new Sportster models. You just saw one a few minutes ago. It was a Bonneville Salt in color. And obviously we also have one left actually. Harley-Davidson 115th anniversary Tri-Glide.
Wow.
So these are
three-wheeler.
Three-wheelers.
Three-wheeler. So if you're in the mood for a three-wheeler, you want to get a bunch of people on your little ride, you come on down. We're here at Desert Wind Harley-Davidson. Chad, what is your favorite bike?
My favorite bike, I would have to go to Street Glide, man. I've owned 3 of them. Out of the 9 Harley-Davidsons I've owned 3 Street Glides. I keep going back to that same model.
All right, I want to know, we got a lot of folks listening. You go out on a journey. Each one of us have our little journeys to talk about. Tell me about an experience on your ride, whether that was to Sturgis or in a local event. I want to know what got your heartbeat cooking.
I got into motorcycling probably about 20 years ago. I did a lot of riding around the valley. Had to experience some of the scenery around Arizona, going out to Tortilla Flats and such. But I'll tell you this, my favorite experience was I'd gone up to Colorado, met a friend of mine up there about a week before Sturgis. We missed the whole big, crowds and everything like that. We did not use our GPS on our motorcycles. We went old school, used Rand McNally maps. We took all back streets and we went up through Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota. So we got to see Devil's Tower, Crazy Horse, and Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah.
And I tell you what, man, if you're not feeling patriotic, you will bleed red, white,
from that
and blue.
neck of the woods. I love it up there.
It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It was truly amazing.
Chad, we're going to split the time. Thank you. If you come down to Desert Wind Harley-Davidson, you need to connect with Chad. He's going to set you straight. Maybe you're not sure what you need. Thank you, Chad. We're going to bring in Paige because we got to talk accessories. Paige, because she's been excited to get on the mic. We're going to just switch it real quick. Come on down, Paige. Of course, live radio.
Don't be messing up her hair. Don't be messing up her hair.
In your mouth.
So we've got Paige, and we just couldn't leave you guys without any information about accessories. Paige, welcome to the show. Hand bump, fist bump, bam, bam. You run the accessories here, and I'm sure you've got a lot of good stuff to talk about with accessories. Tell me about helmets, and let's use me as an example. You guys knew I've never been on a bike. What would you put me into for a helmet?
It depends what you would be more comfortable in. Would you like a half helmet? Would you like a full face? Do you want more of that protection on your face? Do you want half a helmet because you want to feel the wind on your face?
And I like what you said because you're not enforcing something on me, which is really cool. TC's in the house. That's kudos to Paige because, you have somebody coming in. You don't want to enforce something on them. So you're asking those good questions about, well, tell me more about your needs,
right.
How you're driving. Wally wants a big old daddy face mask thing.
That's right. That's right.
I may just want to feel the wind and so on. So tell me about your leather accessories.
Well, we have leather jackets. We also have leather chaps, which are both great for, cold weather riding, but it's Arizona. It gets pretty hot. So we lean more towards like the mesh jackets here and like the cooling vests and stuff like that.
Yeah. What is a popular item right now in your accessories department? What would you say, if I can even ask that?
To be honest, I think everything's pretty popular.
Yeah, see, Paige is smart over here. She said everything is popular, no doubt about it. Wally, what accessories are you kicking on your ride right now?
Chrome don't get you home. That's what I always say. I'm totally blacked out. I have no accessories. I am bare bones. I'm full race. I'm, in the wind. You mentioned I do wear a full face helmet because I have no windshield. And up over 100 miles an hour, you don't want to be eating bugs at 100 miles an hour.
No, that's no doubt about that. That's what's really cool about a Harley-Davidson. And, with a car, you buy it, you can buy various trim packages. But, man, with a Harley, you can pretty much trim it out to suit your style.
Yes. Everybody makes their bike their own, as with the accessories. Everybody has their look. Do you wear fingerless gloves? Do you wear no gloves? Do you wear full gloves? Do you wear chaps?
Chaps, yeah. There's lots of different things.
A lot of people don't think about, it is hot here in the summer. You're talking mesh and cooling vests. Mm-hmm. But when we're up over 120 degrees here, leathers also work.
They do.
Because your 98.6 body temperature, is at least 20 degrees cooler than the air hitting you.
Right.
So you can insulate yourself from the heat with those leathers too. They work both ways.
That's
true.
What
I really like, Desert Winds, if you buy this 2017 model, Harley-Davidson, you actually get the free slip-on mufflers, which is really cool, and a pair of his or hers riding boots. The boots, come on, the boots got to be popular. I know it's 110 out here, but people are wearing boots.
Boots are definitely popular.
Yeah, so out of everything that you do here for accessories, what is your favorite part of what you do during the day with people that come through here at Desert Winds?
Honestly, it's just meeting the people that I get to work with. Like, I have met some of the most incredible people working through Harley, and it's been honestly the best experience. And
you get a variety. Better. I think some people have this misnomer that, look out, there's a Harley rider. But no, man, you can have nurses, librarians, doctors. That's what's really cool. Mainly we talked about like the hog clubs. You talk about a network of people.
Yes.
That is awesome. Paige, we thank you. If you come down to Desert Wind and you need some accessories, you're going to run into Paige. Let's give a round of applause for Paige. Thank you, Paige. She was like, Frank, I'm not coming on it, but we got you on here. Was it bad?
No.
No, it was good times. It's good times. You guys stay tuned. We're going to go right into the service department, and we're going to talk to Matt. Blewett. He's a mechanic. They got a wonderful service department. If you got one of these Harleys, you got to get them fixed. You got to maintain them. So stay tuned. We're going to talk to Matt about what's the unique mechanics of a Harley. Stay tuned next.
Car talk, car culture, car tips, car music, all that is car. This is Wrench Nation with your hosts, Frank and Steve.
And we are live right now at Desert Wind Harley-Davidson on Country Club in Mesa. Wrench Nation Live.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. Wally Cahill and Frank and Steve here. We're hanging out here at the Harley-Davidson, diving into a little bit of history, some culture, what makes the Harley so unique. Wally, and before we dive into our next guest, I'm saying we probably dive into a little new car review real quick.
Absolutely.
Can we do that? We're doing a live remote, so every week we like to treat you to a new car review, and we just don't want to miss that. Wally, what do we got cooking for this week?
This week we have the 2018 Honda Sport Fit, the 5-door, powered by a 1.5-liter VTEC 4-cylinder motor.
Oh, boy.
Just about putting out 130 horsepower, about the same as some of these Harley-Davidsons here.
Direct injection.
Direct injection.
That's soup du jour.
Yep, direct injection engine, 6-speed manual transmission.
Wait a minute. You said 8-speed.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, this ain't the Hellcat. So calm down, right?
That's it. This one, 6-speed manual transmission. So you got to know how to drive a stick.
All right.
Which is really good. But the cool thing about it, they're claiming 36 miles to the gallon on the highway. I actually got 42.
But you know how to drive a clutch.
That's it. I was short shifting all the way through. So I cheated a little bit, but what a commuter car.
Yeah.
If you're a new driver, if you're a commuter, if you're not a big person, now you talk about I'm riding a fat boy, so I'm not going to fit in the Fit that well. It is a little bit of a small car.
Young family, talk to me about the infotainment. How's this connecting us? All the good features?
Yes, all the good features. Your Apple CarPlay.
All right, that seems to be standard.
Yeah, that's pretty standard on there now. That's really about it. I mean, it is pretty much an entry-level car, and the price does reflect it, too.
All right, what do we got for price?
Hey, price, $17,500 MSRP. As tested, my super-duper sport model I had here, the 5-door, was $18,390. And, again, if you shop around like I did, where you're going to find your best deal.
Where's the drum roll? We don't have a drum roll.
We're
doing a live remote.
There you go.
Where we get it?
Superstition Springs Honda.
Nice.
Out on the 60 freeway, heading out of town, heading east. Out there in Mesa, approaching Apache Junction, way out there.
Very good, very good. So there you have it. That's a new car review. Can we tease the folks? Do we know what's in this week's car?
Yes, actually we do. It's another Honda.
Okay.
And it's a Clarion.
All right, so you guys stay tuned. We'd like to give you the Honda Clarion next week.
Yes.
And then also remember now, we take these new car reviews right down to Facebook. We get inside the garage.
Yes.
And, Wally will cover bumper to bumper, and then I'm going to get into the gear and wrench side of what's happening between brakes and just the practicalities of each vehicle, and maybe not so much the practicalities of each vehicle in the garage. So check that out on Facebook, people, Wrench Nation. We need to get under the hood of a Harley.
Well, there isn't a hood, but we can get underneath the tank for sure. Yeah,
yes.
Definitely dive into the mechanical side of it with Matt Blewett here, one of the top technicians over here, and the dyno tech here at Desert Wind, where all the horsepower is made.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Matt. Glad you could stop by. Your service department, top notch. You've got some pretty good. You got some good technology to be able to. You said dyno. Tell us about the dyno.
The dyno's a machine that we've got that we can hook motorcycles up to and run them on there so we can see how much torque and horsepower they gain or they have. It also has the ability to get air fuel samples from the exhaust so we know how well this thing's running.
That's a big deal. When you're talking about stoichiometric, the 14.7 to 1, especially in performance parameters, what do you recommend? Let's get back to basics. Perhaps we have somebody that has a Harley, maybe doing a project. What's the first thing that they can do reasonably? I know money can get you anything,
right.
But what can one do to their Harley?
Yeah, first thing seems people like to do is get sound out of their Harley. They like to put slip-on mufflers on there and maybe a high-flow air cleaner, and then get a little box that'll calibrate that and tune it for that configuration. That usually bumps up the horsepower and torque, just a little bit there.
Sure.
That's probably the most cost-effective and the best way to start out right there.
And I got to remind folks, you do get a free slip-on mufflers when you buy 17 Harley here at Desert Wind.
They've got a few 17s left. That's one of the great promos they got going on. Come in, buy a brand new 2017 Harley-Davidson, your choice of slip-on mufflers or his or her riding boots. I'm going for the mufflers. I want the horsepower. I can ride in my tennis shoes.
So speaking of which, what do you see as a popular upgrade? It seems like a standard. I get the slip-on mufflers. What's the next step up back in there?
The next step up is probably the stage kits they have for the engine. A lot of people are putting performance camshafts in them and big bore kits. And then from there, just goes on up cylinder heads, bigger cubic inches, and things like that.
Right. If I wanted to go all the way, your service department is set up, and we're going to talk maintenance here in a little bit, Wally. If I want to go all the way, what kind of addition or treatment can I give my Harley?
As far as performance?
Yeah.
They've got a Stage 4 kit, which puts some pretty good power into the engines there. There's a lot of these stage kits that Harley's coming out with right now that keep your bike under factory warranty too. So you can do all this and retain the warranty without having any issues there. But and
that's important because I know in the vehicle world, you start deviating too far away and it's not OE approved.
Right.
You could have low miles on something. It's not going to be under warranty. So that's really cool that, and you have that here in your service department. We talked maintenance. Wally, you said you've got a bike that's got 150K on it.
Yes.
You just can't get there without maintaining it. What can you tell folks as sort of really key ingredients for the longevity of their bike beyond an oil service or anything like that? Talk to us about that.
Longevity, service. Just bring your bike in, hit it every 5,000 miles on those intervals, change the oil, have everything inspected, adjusted, lubed, doing that on time. And like I said, keeping fresh oil in your bike on time just keeps the longevity of the bike.
Right. What are you seeing particularly that folks may not know that they can be just negligent? They just don't know that's causing an uptick in cost to the service. Again, oil services, every 5K that has to be done. But is there some folks that are doing that are costing them more money in the end?
Well, a lot of people don't check their tire pressures, and early wear on tires, checking brake pads, just going around the bike and finding things that are starting to wear out before they do wear out. Because if you get to the point where something wears out and then ruins another component, then not only do you have to fix, like say a set of brake pads, but you wore out the brake rotor also.
Rotors, calipers, maybe you get into the hydraulics.
So if you catch that stuff early, then you save some money there.
Same with the check engine light, if you will. We got them in the vehicles, and one of the things that we get. Well, I'm not. Have you seen people just put black tape on the check engine light like we do?
I haven't seen that.
All
yet.
right. Well, we see that, of course. If you're listening, without preaching, man, the check engine light comes on. You got to get that looked at. In terms of check engine light, you've got all the latest and greatest for equipment. In our world, folks are perhaps looking at a code pull. We always tell them, man, you really got to check data stream, right? You don't want to just throw parts on it. Speak to us about, I come in with a Harley to your service department with a check engine light. What are you going to do?
First thing we're going to do is going to hook it up to our computer that we have. It's called Digital Tech, and we can plug it in. It'll pull up the codes, tell us what it is, and if it's a current code, there's an issue right now, we can use that, and it will bring us through pinpoint diagnostics.
You're testing to verify. That's the key.
That's it.
Yeah, and I got to speak on this. You guys know without preaching, and Wally, I just got to say this because we got a lot of wrenches, automotive technicians, motorcycle mechanics. Don't belittle these guys and gals in the service bays. There is a lot of training. There's a lot of technology, and if you come in with this little slip that says, hey, I got a code and I brought the part. Again, if you're doing it yourself, great, that's great. But if you're going into a professional environment with an automotive technician, a mechanic, pay for some testing because they are going to pinpoint so there is no monkey business about guesswork costing you more money. And you spoke on that. That's the same here at Harley-Davidson, here at Desert Wind in your service department.
That's right.
Yeah. How many wrenches do you have back there, motorcycle mechanics?
Let me see. We've got 6 flat rate technicians, and then 2 hourly guys. So
you got a good team. That's a robust team.
Great team.
Yeah.
Great team.
Motor swaps, things like that. You do. We call that it's heavy line, and you do all that heavy
motor
line
swaps,
stuff. Yeah.
engine rebuilds, transmission rebuilds.
Great. That's awesome. Wally, on the maintenance, you ever been caught out there on your ride thinking other than a tire? You keep tire definitely, but did you think that you had everything tip top and something happened that left you out there?
Yes. I've come back in 150,000 miles. I can say I've had 2 issues that I've had to rent U-Hauls and load them up. And one of them was way, way up at the north end of Nevada, and the other one was in Texas. So it was pretty good hauls away. Definitely, I'm picky about who's going to work on my bike. Matt's worked on my bike before. I don't let anybody work on it I don't know. So when it breaks majorly on the road, I put it in the back of a U-Haul truck and I bring it home.
That's it, yeah. Well, speaking of that, roadside service, is that non-existent?
No.
Sorry, it's probably ignorant on my part, but in our world, when we do repairs, we're going to provide roadside service assistance. There's some towing package, almost like a mini AAA. So forgive me for getting
that pretty much. I mean, the only roadside assistant you're going to get with a Harley-Davidson is a flatbed truck.
There you go.
We'll come pick you up in a trailer and get you back to the shop.
Yes.
Yeah. So real quick, Matt, there's a lot of young up and coming mechanics, motorcycle mechanics. How did you get started?
I got started. I went to the motorcycle mechanics school up in north end of Phoenix back in '96. I did a little tinkering with cars and stuff when I was in motorcycles when I was younger, but went to school, stuck to it. It's what I wanted to do, and got out of there and found a job and just been, doing this ever since.
Yeah. We've seen a shift in the automotive industry. A lot of talk about garages having a tough time finding good mechanics. It sort of slapped us in the face to the fact that we need to have a culture in our shop. Long gone are the days where we can just have take advantage of a mechanic or a wrench, or even some youngsters that are in the garage. We need a culture. Talk to me about what you would say to a lot of these youngsters. They want to wrench behind a motorcycle, a Harley. What challenges do you have that you can share with them to inspire them to keep going?
Going to school, the less you know, the more you learn, it seems like, and just stick with it. It's fun. Hit the books and study hard, man, because it pays off. I love riding motorcycles, and I love working on motorcycles, and that's what I get to do. I get to come to work and ride motorcycles and work on motorcycles. It's the ideal job for me.
Yeah. We've had John Gardner on the show, Velocity's Tech Garage, great guy. And, of course, he's actually not only does he do the show, but he's an accomplished automotive instructor, professor of the year down in Florida there at Chippewa College. Folks see him on TV, but they don't realize he's an instructor. Do you have a story to tell us about a moment with an instructor that made you get to that next level? Maybe you were flatlining a bit.
Yeah, it was, 20 years ago. It was a long time for me. My memory's going bad here. But I do remember one instructor that I had in school, and he just encouraged me to just use the books and follow the tools that we have to get the job done. And, it seems like that's the best thing to do.
Discipline is key. You're speaking on that for sure. And, we have a mentor program at our garage. And one of the things that we start with, I would say about 40% of what our younger up-and-coming technician is going to do is all about attention to detail. Mm-hmm. You possibly cannot pull off a brake caliper and forget to torque that back on. So that includes the beginning attention to detail. You youngsters listening, that means if you're responsible for housekeeping, let's call it what it is. If Matt is coming by to check out your work in that garage and you just not about attention to detail, how is Matt going to bring you to possibly doing brakes on a Harley or removing a tire? So you touched upon that big time. Technology is blazing away. What kind of training are you responsible for per year working on a Harley?
New models and new things come up all the time. So the factory continues to have us go to factory training and schools, when new things come out.
Yeah. Well, Matt Blewett from Desert Wind Harley-Davidson Services Department. Give us the hours of the service department.
Ooh, you got a business card? I think it's
Matt's in the back working on stuff.
8 to 6, maybe 8 to 6.
All right. Well, just know that if you're coming down here to Desert Wind and you buy a Harley, not only can you accessorize to your suit, your need, your flavor, but man, they've got a service department to take care of you. Matt, you rock. Thank you for spending time with us. We'll do this again.
If you're looking for horsepower, you ask for Matt. That I can tell you.
Come see me.
That's good to know, because there's a lot of horsepower faking going on out there. And Matt, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you stopping by the show. Matt Blewett with Desert Wind, Harley-Davidson. It's always good to meet a mechanic that takes pride in what they do, and horsepower is key. And
right.
Sounds like Matt knows.
Matt knows
the gig.
it. Matt's a little bit humble when it comes to it, but Matt's also a drag racer of a Harley.
Nice.
So he's been doing it a long time. Been doing it with friends of mine. I've known Matt a long time.
Well, we got to go out and support Matt.
Oh man, yeah,
So,
we can do it. I'll tell you what, you bring both of them with you, because that's what it takes to ride a bike down the strip like that.
No doubt. Of course, we were hanging at NHRA here in Phoenix recently, and it's always good to a lot of our listeners are hanging, and they're motorsports is in their blood, and people don't realize that it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, and the work goes away though when you have. Matt mentioned something. When we asked him about the challenges, he said, you know what? You love what you do. You're going to have challenges working on this stuff.
Sure.
But you love what you do, and as long as that's in the gut and the belly, boy, that gets you by for sure.
Yes. He gets to come to work, works on motorcycles, rides motorcycles, test rides motorcycles, and gets paid for it.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride right here at Desert Winds. You remember this Saturday, come on out from 9 to 3 p.m. Free pancake breakfast. So you can't get any better than that. Free tire pressure top off, his safety inspection, got a boot shine, just all things community and Harley-Davidson here at Desert Wind.
Lots of vendors out here, too.
A lot of vendors. It's going to be a huge Lollapalooza. I want to thank all the guests from Desert Wind for hanging with us on the show. We got to talk to quite a few people about the operation here, which is really cool.
You got some wild and wacky news?
I think we got some wild and wacky.
Let's open this up. Here we go.
The Wrench Nation Wild and Wacky News on Wheels.
All right, I had to step back way back in time to 2005 and relate it to the choppers, the motorcycles, inmates in Nevada. Back in 2005, they got together and built the ultimate big house chopper. That was back in 2005. So I'm going to leave you with a question. Is this happening today? Are they building a big house chopper today? So if you've got the answer, get on the Wrench Nation Facebook, or, hey, you can text us, 480-655-8870. You guys rock.
That's going to do it for this week. Wrench Nation, of course, 2 hours every week, 3 to 5 on Wednesdays here on 88.7 The Pulse. The podcast coming up this weekend as well.
Yeah, you guys rock. You've gotten on to iTunes all over and told us what you thought about the show. We appreciate you. Click that subscribe button. And remember, hang out on Facebook, Wrench Nation. It's where we kind of do our videos, our new car review. Maybe we've got a project in the garage. We appreciate you. Love you. We're right back. Stay tuned. We're going to be back next Wednesday. And as I always say, be safe, hug each other, and never forget to hug a mechanic.